Hi, welcome back to my channel, Manga Hoarder. My name is Laura, and today we are doing what I do best here, which is hoard manga. So this is sort of like my one thing that I do every month, and everything else I'm really bad at continually doing. So I am adding quite a few volumes here into my collection. I do have things or manga adding from various different places. Some are new, some are out of print. None of them are used though. And then a couple of extras here at the end. So we'll see how that all shapes up. I think I'm just going to get into it though and show you what I got. So the first little section I'm going to show you are all things that I got from a local comic book store. This is a store I don't frequent very much, but it used to be a favorite of mine when I started getting into manga because they had such a great discount. If you were a member, and also because the staff and the owners were so friendly. A lot of the staff ended up leaving, and then one of the owners, sort of like the real crux of it, was that one of the owners did something that really set me off. We had a major falling out where he literally called to scream at me on the phone. I haven't been back there much in the last about 10 years, but I have been there about 3 times in the last year, just because I know that they are so bad at managing their old materials. They aren't like other stores where they've been able to manage, with the, continuous turnover. This shop, if they don't sell it, they just hold on to it. They don't really know actually how to manage their old unsold materials, which they should be doing in sort of a better manner. So they have a lot of old stuff. So I'm not suffering because I can now find a bunch of old out of print things. Unfortunately, they're still way overpriced, in my opinion, because they're not giving that discount anymore because they are struggling. So at any rate, I did end up picking up a couple of volumes. I actually only went over there because I saw a conversation between a couple of other manga tubers. One of them was looking for a volume 3 of Bokurano, and I know how hard that is to find, and this is the one place that I thought there might be a hidden copy for at least cover price, and then I would be a hero and, send it to them. But fortunately they didn't have it. I actually picked up my volume 3 from them about 6 months ago, or within the last year anyway, so I thought maybe they had a couple more there because they do have sort of weird stock. They have a lot of strange out of print things, but if they were discounted I would buy a lot more, and then I would send them off out into the world. But because they are still being sold at full price, I'm not venturing into there too much. But regardless, story time over. I ended up finding a couple of volumes that I wanted to pick up. Some I knew they were there, and I've just been leaving because I wasn't ready to buy them. One was a major surprise, so let's start with the one. Major surprise, so excited, and actually I think at this point the only thing I've read from this entire haul, so that's this one. And I'm so happy to have this. This is the Bunk Boy Hino Horror Volume number 2. This was published by Kokoro Books. And let's see when the actual publication was. It's just 2004, so it's actually not as old as I thought it was. But it is a horror title from Hideshi Hino. There are 4 volumes, I believe, in the series that were released in English. I only have the one right before it, which is like the Red Snake or the Snake Woman, something like that. And then there's 2, like a part 1, part 2 of another title. Anyway, I'm a fan of Hideshi Hino. As you know, I'm kind of into horror, which just totally baffles me, but I am. And Hideshi Hino is, I don't know, every time I read something new of his, I fall in love with his works more because they're incredibly innocent. They're not like other horror manga where you feel so much dread and fear and whatever. They're mostly just like innocent characters who've had bad luck, and everyone has bad luck in turn. But they're also incredibly disgusting. Not gruesome, but like gross out. So a lot of pus and blood and guts and gross things. So this is actually about a boy who is very much neglected. Everybody dislikes him because he likes insects so much. One day an insect bites him and he actually basically turns into this bug you see on the cover. Of course, his family reject him and try to kill him, and then something in his mind snaps and he tries to kill everybody in turn. But the main character, this bug, is actually, or the boy, is so innocent and sweet and just like adorable in a really gross way, and I don't know, I just absolutely loved it, and I'm so happy that I was able to find this and not have to pay an arm and a leg for it, so that was exciting. Yeah, that was totally worth it to go to this store. The next thing I picked up is a volume 2. I have been wanting to read this actually since it was released, but it was released at the wrong time. And unfortunately, volume 1 is not the easiest to pick up. That is Dragon Girl. This is by Toru Fujieda. This is the same author as Oyayubi Hime Infinity, which is a favorite of mine. This one, I don't even really know what it's about, except for that it's that same author. I love that other story so much, so I imagine I would like this a lot. This was published by Yen Press, like I said, in 2 volumes. So I have the second one, and I will definitely have my eye out for the first, but at least I'm sort of halfway there, and I know it was an author that I really wanted to read more of. I just haven't had the chance yet, and I still don't have the chance. I have to wait for that other volume somehow. And then a continuation from my last secondhand haul. This is all not secondhand books, but they're all sort of more in the same series. So I ended up picking up quite a few more volumes of Firefighter. I still don't have the complete series, but I'm really, I bet I'm like a good 3/4 of it done now. So I ended up, maybe it's a little bit nicer on this side, I ended up picking up volume 3, volume 4, volume 5, volume 6, and then 9, 10. That one's familiar, so I may have already picked that one up. And 11. It was actually hard to figure out what I needed for this because we hadn't added it to our spreadsheet yet, and so I actually had to scroll through my video like really quickly and keep pausing because you know the way that I do these, I always cut out the in-between bits so it goes quite quickly. So yeah, I ended up watching my own videos several times in the store trying to figure out, did I have these volumes yet? So anyway, that's everything I got at that store. I'm happy with what I picked up. I'm particularly happy about the horror title because there's not that much of it, and this one in particular is just the cutest. I love it so much. So anyway, on to the new stuff. First thing that I picked up, or that's in my hand, Emin Volume 2. This is Emin Wanderer Part 1, so I guess it's sort of various stories or story arcs. So that's an interesting way that they're going to be labeling it. It looks like there is some beautiful color in the front, and really nice that it is actually on the matte pages, so I really like that when that happens. It's just so much more aesthetically pleasing. I really loved the first volume of this. I definitely will be reading this soon. I haven't yet just because I'm in the middle of a readathon and it hasn't quite fit in, and also because it's been downstairs up until this point, so now that it's upstairs I might just read it anyway. But this is a story about a character who, Emin is a no-named character, you know, that's the name reversed, and she sort of just exists in time, and she can continue to exist over a long period of time. She has an extended memory, and I think that this is just a story of her wandering and taking in the world and what sort of the human history, sort of the human experience, and sort of presenting that in a way. It's very lovely so far. I also picked up my first Denpa title. I think we have a couple in this collection, but they're my sister's. This one is An Invitation from a Crab by Pan Panya. It has a very mixed style of sort of detailed or realistic rendering with very cartoony characters, or very stylistic characters, sort of an alternative comic. I don't know what this is about at all, but the cover is actually what drew me to it, because it just is so unassuming, and it just seems to kind of, doesn't stand out, it kind of blends. It's not something that you would normally be like, oh, that's a manga, you know. It kind of looks like even there's less design to this cover than most covers. So cover is entirely the reason that I picked this up. Also the fact that I haven't picked any Denpa titles up, and I have been wanting to definitely check out their work and support them as a publisher. They have a couple of titles that I'm really eager to collect, and if they weren't so long, I probably would have jumped on them. You know, it's just bad timing for me for them to come out right now, but hopefully they'll have some more cool titles. They definitely have been releasing sort of titles in series that I would be more inclined to like, I think. So looking forward to that. I picked up a random volume 6 of Saint Seiya Saintia show. I only have 1 through 3. So I don't know what was going through my mind that I thought I needed volume 6 and not 4, 5. You can explain that one to me. I haven't even read 1 through 3, but it is on my TBR at the moment. We'll see if it happens. I got the next 2 volumes of Blade of the Immortal. So I have volume 8, which unfortunately is a little bit damaged. It got a little bumped up in the mail, but I think it's so minor, I don't see myself bothering with returning it. But I am annoyed. I think Amazon's just doing a really poor job of shipping their books. And then the other one, of course, is volume 9. I think volume 10 is out already. I could be wrong. But again, another title I haven't read, but I think this one is done publishing in this format this year. That's the impression I'm under, so I definitely will want to check that out then. This is weird lighting. I feel very pink. I got the last volume. This is the final volume of Everyone's Getting Married by Izumi Miyazono. After picking up Blade of the Immortal, this seems like so insubstantial. Kind of is, I guess. This is a romance. I think it's pretty obvious how it ends. I think it was pretty obvious how it was going to end right from the very start. So, but I am looking forward to finally reading this. I don't think I've read the last. Possibly I've read up to volume 7. There was an annoying love triangle, which I really hate. As you know, I really hate that love triangle. It's in here. So I was hoping to just like wait it out, so I didn't have to be continually annoyed every time I read a new volume. So I'm going to wait it out till it's done. Now it's done. I can read it. I know we'll get over that triangle. And then I don't have to be annoyed anymore. Next I picked up another title almost entirely based off of the cover, because this really reminds of sort of like a classic series. I can't even think of what the edition is, but there's a classic series of like old mystery or crime novels, and this definitely is taking cues from that design. So this is Ryuko by Yoshimizu. And I think that this is just a story about a woman, a Yakuza woman. The art is very dark, and not just because it's here. It's bloody, but I don't think you can tell what's going on.
You've got a package.
Oh! Why, thank you. Just what I needed.
You're welcome.
It was very dark. And you know what? I'm totally into it. I feel like this will do well maybe after reading Lady Snowblood. I think that this will kind of match up well with that. I don't know even if this is a new author or if this is, I don't know anything about this creator, so I will have to look up more about them, but I am definitely looking forward to it. I already have the next volume pre-ordered. I picked up my last volume, which is not the last volume, but it's the last volume for me because I missed ordering it earlier, of Princess Jellyfish. This is volume 7 by Akiko Higashimura. And I have the rest of it, I just was missing volume 7. So that happens when you're collecting a lot of different series, you just end up missing one. I haven't read very far into this. I think I've only read the first 2 volumes. I have enjoyed what I've read so far. I think the characters are really fun. I actually did pick up the anime after I had started reading the series. I really disliked the anime a lot. So I think that's interesting, just that I can tolerate, or I think that the characters are really hilarious in this, but as soon as I see them acting so obnoxious and moving, and their voice acting and such, when all of that's put together, how irritating I found that. I think that was quite interesting. So anyway, I'm looking forward to finishing that one. I picked up, and these ones are beautifully bound titles, of the new H.P. Lovecraft. This one is At the Mountains of Madness, Volume 1 by Go Tanabe. There is another Go Tanabe H.P. Lovecraft title. I can't remember what it is at the moment, but I do have it as well. And I think this one is only 2 volumes long, but I also recently just picked up H.P. Lovecraft, just sort of a really short compendium of some of his stories, just so that I get a sense of what his writing is, while I also read these manga, because I've never actually really been exposed to his work at all, so I thought that would be kind of a fun thing to do. The art in these is a little bit different as well. Definitely seems to be taking more of a cue from like digital art. Let's see. Like, the art is definitely nice, but it certainly is representing kind of a new style in manga. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, like every other one. I got the next volume of Urusei Yatsura. This one is volume 3. I have read the first one and a bit. I don't think I've read all of the second volume yet. Urusei Yatsura is definitely of its time, but it's just so incredibly charming, and I love it to pieces. It's really nostalgic. I don't know how new readers would really appreciate or respond to it, because it is very different. This is definitely a comedy series. It is about Lum, who is... Actually, it's more about the boy, I think, and I can't remember what his name is, Gon or something. Oh, Ataru. Of course. Of course it's not what I think. So Ataru is this boy, and he kind of just attracts bad luck around him, and in the first volume there's a lot of different scenarios, and it almost looks like Lum isn't going to be a character, but she probably, I imagine, and this is complete speculation, that people responded well to her, and so she was brought back. Essentially, she is an alien, beautiful bikini-clad alien, or at least they're calling her an alien, but she's more of an oni because she does have the horns. And she is wearing sort of like the tiger skin. So she's more of like an oni rather than an alien. But she comes down from a spaceship, and she believes herself, and I can't remember how it all works out, but she believes herself to be engaged to Ataru, and he is not really interested, even though he's a total womanizer, and she's like a babe. So anyway, it's just very classic Rumiko Takahashi, the way that she writes things. It's just a lot of fun and really like just goofy, silly, slapstick. People end up in silly situations. You're not supposed to take it too seriously. It does get quite repetitive, I would say, but it's also not a long series. It's not as long as like Ranma half, so you don't have to, you know, go as far. But I think it is better kind of taking a break between volumes, or, you know, once you get a little bit tired, just like take a break and then come back to it, because this is one of those titles that can really kind of become overwhelming by how samey it is, but it is sort of Rumiko Takahashi style. She kind of uses a lot of the similar devices because they work for her. But regardless, I really do love Lum. She's the greatest. And it's just really silly, fun time. And then I think this is the last manga. And then I picked up Disappearance Diary. This is by Hideo Azuma. This is a Ponenmon title. I'm only missing like 1 or 2 actually from this entire publisher of their manga. They do have other things. And this one, I don't know what it's about. Doesn't matter. This is one of the titles that is referenced in the 1001 Comics You Must Read Before You Die, so I am still working on it. It just sort of was on the back burner through most of the summer. But I am, you know, it's still on my mind. It's still something I want to continue to do. So I definitely had my eye on this one. It completely went out of print, and then I think Ponent Bon just had a really quick burst of reprinting. I've been holding off, and then all of a sudden there was only one in stock. So I ended up picking it up for the full price, which I didn't really want to do, but I also didn't want to miss out. You know, it's well regarded, obviously. I don't know too much about it. I think it's actually about an author and this manga is a positive outlook on life, and so it has been made with as much realism removed as possible. Just kind of cute, lots of illustration and text. It kind of looks like more of a comic strip or more Western style comic, so that'll be interesting to read. And then the last thing that I picked up from Amazon for this is not a manga, but it is called manga, and that is the City Exhibition manga, edited by Nicole Coolidge, Ruse Manier, and Matsuba Ryuko. This is the British Museum. If you didn't know, you should probably have known. If you're watching this channel, you probably are aware that the British Museum recently had a several month-long exhibition on manga, the history of manga, etc. And this is their exhibition publication. So now that the exhibition is over, you can actually buy it publicly rather than just at the museum. There's lots of full-color art. There's interviews by creators. Lots of good research in it, so I haven't read it at all. I've only just barely flipped through it, but it looks like there's lots of really interesting things in this book. It hasn't been a really good manga, sort of just like general manga publication in quite a few years, I think, so I really was eager to pick this up. As soon as the exhibition was announced, I went online to see when the catalog was coming out, when this book was coming out, because I knew that they would have to have a publication going along with that exhibition, and I definitely want to get my hands on it. So very, very happy to have this publication. So while we were sitting here, I actually got a delivery. It's Saturday, which is kind of weird. Also from Amazon, so I'm just going to open it because it also looks like a book. Even though I'm not really expecting any books. How come I can't open this? Oh, here we go. Oh, I see. It's funny, I thought this was delayed. So the last manga that I bought, I do have a couple of other things. The last manga that I bought is My Boy by Hitomi Takano. This is volume 5. I think I just picked up volume 4 in the last publication, and I have heard from some of you that it may get scary. The relationship does have some potential scariness in it after volume 4, so we're going to tread lightly, and yeah, I'm a little bit afraid, but we'll see how it goes. So that's everything from Amazon. Next I have 2 packages, which I can't really even show you. There, I can show you that much. This one is from BizarreIndividual. So very kindly sent me something in the mail. I think I know what he sent me, but we'll see. Okay, so he ended up sending me the first volume of Arakawa Under the Bridge by Hikaru Nakamura. I believe that this is sort of a absurd comedy. I think that's sort of what I'm supposed to expect. I've heard not too much about this. I've only heard one person actually say that they thought this was hilarious, and I think that's the extent of how much I've heard about this title. So I was really eager to read it. It was one of my anticipated titles to read when it was released, and then I never picked it up because it just didn't fit in the budget. I ended up picking up a whole bunch of other things instead. So I haven't actually gotten to this. So I'm glad that he sent this because I was really curious about it. and now I can try it out, because I felt like it was a little too late now to go back and start it. So yeah, thank you so much to BizarreIndividual for sending this. I will definitely read it, and we'll see. Maybe I'll keep buying it, but I really appreciate it because I was very interested about this title a while ago. And then the last one is a little skinny package, you can see, and this comes from a friend of mine, Holly, and I'm a little bit scared to open this without scissors, so I will be right back. Okay, I have the scissors. This is a very interestingly constructed package. Now, Holly lives in Toronto and was able to go to TCAF, which is the Toronto Comics Art Festival, and this year they had Junji Ito starring or guest appearing, and so she got me something. Got me two somethings. What's the something? What is this? Oh, lots of things. Oh, she got me, or she sent me the festival guide, which is really cool. I have definitely picked up, maybe not the festival guide itself, but I've definitely picked up some publications from the festival. So this basically says everybody who appeared. Yeah, and it definitely has a big promo for Junji Ito. So yeah, I will definitely check out this and have a look through it. That's interesting. I actually was really wanting to go this year, and maybe I'll have a chance to do that in the future. Oh, she also sent me this picture. I thought maybe it was going to be more like the hard plastic shitajiki, but it's almost like on a autograph board. It did get a little bit bent. I know you tried really hard. I don't think it's bad at the front at all, but nice. Not for sale or resale. Yeah, I definitely could find a place to stick this up on the wall, maybe. I think there's even a little bit of space in here, so yeah, I definitely will put this up. I love it. It's great. It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. And possibly, is this a note? Just an empty envelope. You fooled me. That's great. I love it. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for doing that, sending it to me. You definitely didn't have to do that. I really do want to try going to TCAF in the future. It's not super easy to get over all the way to Toronto from where I live. You know, we're not that close. But if I'm very good, they had really good guests. If I'm very good, I can save money and do that sometime. So yeah, that's cool. Thank you so much for sending that. Anyway, that's everything that I got in the last couple of weeks. Thanks so much to Holly and BizarreIndividual for sending those things along. Super appreciated. I definitely will read the manga and also find a place to put this picture up on my wall. I'm just looking around my room here, just trying to find the best place, and I think there's a couple of places that I can stick it. So yeah, definitely really appreciate you sending that along. That was really cool of you to do. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching. Let me know if you've read any of these manga, particularly if you have read the Hideshi Hino or if you have collected the Hideshi Hino. Let me know if you also are a Hideshi Hino fan. That's a hard name to say. Let me know if you're also a fan of his. I would love to know, because, you know, I kind of really love him. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.